Communication is one of those words that's defined differently from person to person, with the deciding factor being the broadness of one's mind. Before this class, my definition of communication was simply the exchanging of words between two or more parties, but this interpretation neglects a significant amount of what I learned goes into communication, such as negative and positive feedback. A huge part of communicating that I overlooked was how myself and others signal whether or not we even want to. Nonverbal communication. While I find it hard to stay silent for very long, I found that a simple glare, smile, or head jerk can often communicate a message just fine. Noise is another factor whose definition is far greater than I gave credit to. While me talking is obviously interrupting the flow of this conversation, things like lighting and temperature can also affect the effectiveness of communication. Something my Jahari window taught me was how other cultures perceive me and the difference between those two identities. There are some things that come across in both cultures, such as my wit and intellect, are obviously more understood by others, whereas things like sentiment and knowledge are things that are understood by one party more than the other. Something my social penetration project taught me was how I grade people subconsciously, but via doing this project, it became a more conscious grading of my friends and how they stack up to each other. When in a business formal setting, it is proper etiquette to talk in long and drawn-out sentences and keep the reader or person you're talking to informed and invested in what you have to say. It's less about engaging with the person on a personal level and more so just getting your message across.
Whereas with more business casual, you're still appropriate to go outside or maybe even attend some meetings, but overall it's just kind of how you display yourself as, well, it's a Saturday. I can go out and look fine, but also I can slouch against walls and kind of slur my words every now and again. It doesn't really matter.
When you're casual, you kind of don't care about much, and more or less you're very comfortable with whatever you're doing, even if it looks embarrassing to anyone else that is actually.
I feel like I engage in just about every type of communication, but there's one that sticks out, and that's machine-assisted communication. I feel like it has a bit of a negative status as something that is artificial or insincere, but honestly, I feel like it can be just as efficient and even more so personal than other forms of communication. And I've made some of my best friends via that way, specifically through Discord. And I honestly can't imagine communicating with them via anything else. Honestly, I see machine-assisted communication as more of a culture of its own, as well as a form of communication. Because while someone like me can use it to talk to someone that I've met in person, I very rarely talk to them using that method outside of the occasional did you do your homework. And the opposite can be said of if I meet someone online, that's pretty much exclusively the only way I talk to them. I can't imagine meeting them in real life and having a better experience with them because that's just something we're not used to. Alright guys, that's all I have for this video. Make sure to hit that like button and smash the subscribe button. I'll see you in the comments. Have a good one. Finally, this is over.